Okay. Hey, we're back with another video. Now today we're going to be reacting to Tariffs Explained to a MAGA by a Professional Importer and Exporter. Tariffs Explained to MAGA by a Professional Importer and Exporter. Okay. So he's going to explain the tariffs. And I'm shocked that they don't know what that is. Are you telling me that the people that voted for Trump don't know what a tariff is? Let's find out. I did a video on it on here too where I was like reacting to what a tariff was. So I do want to know, do y'all know what it is? If MAGA doesn't know what it is, might be about time to get informed. let's go.
Who pays the tariffs? The Chinese government pays the tariff. No, they don't. Yes, they do. The government that is manufacturing that product, I just want it to be even. Instead of us paying 400% of the tariffs. How you doing? Very good. I want to say, I'm an importer and an exporter for 20 years. Okay. When a product comes into the U.S., there's something called a tariff sheet. Okay.
Oh my God, they don't know. Trump don't even know though. Trump said they pay the tariff. No, we do. No, we do. Oh, this is gonna be hilarious. God.
Look what Trump is talking about. He's eliminating the income tax and possibly going through tariffs. And people are so quick to... Who pays the tariffs? What? Who pays the tariffs? Foreign countries pay the tariffs. Okay. And let's talk about... No. Wait, we're talking about tariffs. So the product comes in from China, it gets on a ship, right, and then it comes in, and I'm the American manufacturer. I'm going to use that stuff from China. Who paid the tariff on it? The Chinese government pays the tariff. No, they don't. Yes, they do. You're thinking because you're paying more for that product. Because the Chinese product... It's going to be more expensive. It is. But look what's happening now, guys. You go to Europe. I travel to China often. I travel to Europe often. You don't see like a Buick in China. But you see these Asian, you see these BMWs, Audi, and all that. Why do you think? I really need you to understand is... Who is paying the tariff? The government that is manufacturing that product. Is all we're saying is this. Look, I just want it to be even. Instead of us paying 400% of the tariffs. How you doing? Very good. I want to say, I'm an importer and an exporter for 20 years. Okay. When a product comes into the U.S., there's something called a tariff sheet. Okay. I, as the buyer of that product, follow U.S. law and pay the tariff. Some goods are tariff-free. But when I pay that tariff, I'm an American citizen, I'm an American taxpayer, right? That tariff might be 1%, it might be 7%, it might be 14%. That means I'm a U.S. company, I pay that tariff to the U.S. government, and that increase in the cost of the product, I then sell to you for a higher price because I'm going to cover that tariff. And what about... There is no...
It ain't funny though, because man, Trump is talking about 25% tariffs. He's talking about 50% tariffs. The higher the number goes up, the more the product is going to cost for us. But what he's trying to do, I think what Trump is trying to do with the tax though, let's be fair. He's trying to take the tax money that comes from that and put it back into the American citizens. That would make more sense, hopefully.
The Americans and the Europeans who allow us to not charge us as much tariffs as when our tariffs are higher when they go overseas as opposed to theirs coming here.
So tariffs are never a zero-sum game. Tariffs are a tool. So, for example, you might say, you want to sell us your beans, right? Yeah. We are going to give you a low tariff if you buy our corn, right? But the cost of the tariff is ultimately always borne by the consumer. The end consumer always pays the tariff.
But then, don't you think at the end of the day there may be more competition within the market of the U.S. government? If not only now there's not the cheap Chinese product coming in, but you also now have the American manufacturer.
You're confusing the question. This is not a question of competition. The point we're discussing is who bears the cost of the tariff. Okay. I couldn't tell you if it's good policy for the U.S. government to tax beans and for the Chinese government to tariff corn. I don't know if there's any you can't compare those. That's beyond my expertise. Okay. But what I can absolutely assure you on my eyes is that a product that comes into the US is paid for by a US company, and the increased cost of that is borne by all of us.
I can't.
That has never.
I can't comment.
I am an import.
That was the simplest it was ever explained. And he is still trying to argue with it. That is the simplest it was ever explained. See, this is why we need experts on topics. Experts on topics can explain to us what's really going on. And I understood that too. It's just what is going to happen with the money that comes from the tariff. That's the question that I think Donald Trump is trying to pose. Because if you go back to William McKinley is where Donald Trump gets his ideas from, 1890, somewhere around there. But William McKinley was, I think it was the 25th president, and he used tariffs to help pay for, well, there was so much money going on at that time too. And tariffs were used to help us basically pay what we would pay in income tax today. But industries have grown and things are different. We're so, like for example, the automotive industry, like there's different parts coming from all over the planet. So like if you tariffed cars coming in and out of this place, each part, there's going to be a tariff or a higher cost on each part, which may be more of a problem or may not be. Who knows? We'll see. Like, I mean, obviously we're going to learn it because they're going to play this game in April. But I don't see anything good for the consumer coming from tariffs. I don't see anything good for the consumer at the beginning point. Now, in the long term, maybe. In the long term, maybe, because I think there was a tariff on chicken from, I think it was a tariff on chicken or Germany. Chicken from Germany or something like that. And then a tariff on their cars. And it wrecked their side of it, but it fixed our side of it when it came to chicken. Y'all research that, fact check me on that for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Exporter.
I
do it for a living.
Okay.
I have a tariff sheet that's bigger than 500 Bibles.
Then what's the alternative? At one point in our history, in our country's history, it was tariffs that paid for our economy.
Tariffs don't pay for your economy.
But they did. We didn't have income taxes before.
They did.
Before income taxes, the country survived by tariffs. That was before we had municipal.
He is correct on that. That did happen. William McKinley, under William McKinley, the president, that did happen. He is correct on that. Give him his props, guys.
Infrastructure. Correct. I mean, we did not have.
And also too of like, well, the competition argument that American products are going to be in the marketplace.
Okay, this ain't fair. It's 3-on-1. But I mean, we do need to explain this to people more so people can understand.
More is, I think, kind of bullshit because the reason we get so much from China is because their labor laws are so poor and they can afford to pay people like shit for shit quality products. If you want American goods in circulation, they're already going to cost more because we have better labor laws and we take care of our workers. So if you want American products in the marketplace made cheaper through tariffs, you're going to have to really screw American workers, pay them less, give them less benefits, no health care. Like, it's not a good idea to have 100% American-made products because it'll be so expensive, and you're already complaining about high prices.
I don't think the effort is suggesting that it's only 100%. What they're saying is make it an even playing field. My understanding is that the tariff is lopsided to benefit other countries as opposed to ours. The suggestion is just to bring it up to make it equal. That's it.
You're framing this in a way that doesn't make any sense. Tariffs are not about equalization, right? They're about access to the marketplace.
Okay.
So you cannot say like, for example, a company in the U.S. may feel that a certain technology from a different country is advantageous. They can sell it at a profit, right? That doesn't mean that the U.S. government or some Chinese or German or Australian company has some kind of like equalization calculus that they're engaging. Oh, because we're sending our products there, therefore it's good that we're bringing it. That's not how tariffs work. That's not how tariffs work.
But the trade relations...
That's what Trump is telling them, though, and that's why they're confused. They don't understand. Like, when some companies are tariffing... When countries are tariffing certain goods and services, they're doing it because they're trying to build their markets in that region for whatever is going on. That is the true point that is good for a tariff with countries. Like, a country is trying to build up its whatever that good is. Let's say it's, cattle. A country is tariffing any other meat that's cattle made, that comes from cattle, meat that comes from cattle, is tariffing that so that this market here can build up its market so that it can become, it helps that company, right? Simply put. But to just tariff everything coming in and out, I think he's bluffing. He's got to be bluffing, man. He's got to be bluffing because even Canada's retaliatory tariffs are on certain goods and products. So he's got to be bluffing on every good. Like, you're going to wreck the economy doing that. But certain things, maybe. You know, I don't know. We don't know. Like, we got to be able to see the spreadsheet economically on how everything goes. There's so many industries.
Between two countries, tariffs come into play with the trade relationship
That's
between
why you
countries.
that's why you have free trade agreements.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that even within the free trade agreement there are not tariffs. There are multiple millions of tariff agreements between countries. The European Union may have free trade agreements within it, but there are products go out that are still tariffed.
Yes.
But it's still the consumer. But the consumer,
Facts.
I absolutely assure you, I do this for a living. The consumer bears the cost. Now, it may be that an imported product, even with a tariff, supplants a domestic product. But you don't want that, because that's going to affect American jobs. If there's one thing you should take away from this extended conversation, is that you are always paying the tariff. Me, you, everyone here is always paying the tariff.
Fair enough.
There is no economic reality in contradiction to that.
Okay, you know what? I'm not educated now. Fair enough. I'm willing. Yeah, okay.
Well, I really love your work, man.
All right, thank you.
Social. It's great to meet you.
Thank you, man.
Have a good
Cheers.
one.
It was a pleasure.
Let's go.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Can I get a
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
so much.
No, you, that was a fucking great video. It is the best. It is always amazing. I love being in a photo. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, sometimes like we got to be educated on these topics, and yeah, definitely like this is frustrating. It is frustrating because this is something like we should have known about. It's funny how like economics is not really taught in schools, like so people really don't know how anything works, you know. But anyways, we're out. Peace.